What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am Jake Berlin, aka the Whiskey Jedi, and thank you so much for joining me. I know it's been a little bit since I've been on here. Things have been a little crazy around the household. I've been doing a lot. For a lot of people who probably watch this, you've seen a lot of the shows that I've been on. The time it takes to do quite a bit of those shows, and I love doing them, but sometimes certain things take a little bit of priority. But I want to get back into doing this channel and this show just for the basically for the hell of it. I'm not going to call it so much a restart or reboot, but I'm kind of retooling, if you will, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes here in the future. It's funny, over the last couple months, and I checked. I haven't done a show since May. That's how crazy it's been, because the world kind of opened back up and things started getting crazy. I've been working a lot, and as I mentioned, a certain point of view in Apocalypse movies. My two homes, Apocalypse movies first, certain point of view. I do a lot for them, and sometimes this takes a little bit of a backseat, but I want to get back into doing it and talking whiskey, talking Star Wars, but also, as you noticed by the thumbnail, talking a little bit of other stuff as well. I kind of sat back and thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to limit myself to things that are just Star Wars related. And of course, I think the main stuff is going to be Star Wars. Like, I'd probably say 1 out of every 4 shows might focus on something different. I already have a show planned with one of my favorite people in the world to talk about something that has to do with a swashbuckling Nazi fighter, if you will, which will be a lot of fun. But I kind of wanted to sit back and really figure out what I want to do this channel. I'm gonna do that tonight. It's gonna be a little bit of a shorter show, but I want to talk specifically about Brandy. Thank you so much. I love you, Brandy. You're always supporting everybody. You're here in the chat right now. I wanted to show off my infinity bottle specifically, and most of you probably have no idea what an infinity bottle is. And I'm super excited to talk about it if you're a whiskey drinker. Yeah, Rachel, exactly. It's not just going to be for Star Wars people. Like, I want to open it up, and I put it on the thumbnail, right? 2 of my favorite things in the world, Tron and Indiana Jones. I want to open it up to things that I want to talk about specifically, not, on Apocalypse, my other movie channel, which you can find all over YouTube. We do all kinds of movie stuff. It's a wide range of movie topics, right? It's about things that are happening currently in the world, news or reviews or whatever it may be. But for this, I want to talk about the things that I love. Indy, Tron, Star Wars, Speed Racer, baseball. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of random things that pop up here and there that I just want to talk about, and I'm super excited to do so. Of course, this is a Star Wars channel first. It's my first love. When things happen, I want to talk about it, but also we're kind of in that like standstill with Star Wars. So what am I gonna talk about with Star Wars every single week, right? So I want to open up the field to other things outside of Star Wars, and I'm excited to do so. Whether it's about new movies, old movies, whatever it is, I'm excited. But the other half of the show is all about whiskey as well. I've done a lot of whiskeys over the last year, 2 years, and I love talking about whiskey. I love trying different whiskeys, but I've never ever done my infinity bottle. Gabby, the Bachelor might be a possibility. It very well could be a possibility because, and for those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I just found out that a kid that I coached for 4 years in high school baseball, I coached him in summer league. He's going to be on the flipping Bachelor, and that makes me old. That makes me old that's happening, which is wild. So that'll definitely be something that comes up at some point, I'm sure. Gab and I are definitely we're Bachelor people. We're definitely Bachelor people. Brandy, you started Whiskey University. We're going to have to talk, Brandy. We're going to have to talk. That might be something I'm interested in once I finish all the bottles I have. I have so many bottles since I last did a show that I can talk about. And I'm super excited to do so, but I keep talking about it. I want to get to it. The infinity bottle. The infinity bottle of whiskey. Now, if you don't know what an infinity bottle is, it doesn't come with a super fancy label. It's not a company, anything like that. This is my infinity bottle right here. It's if you go to a restaurant, you can see that sometimes these pour water. Some of the waiters or waitresses pour water out of these. An infinity bottle can be anything you want it to be. It can be an old whiskey bottle. It can be an old vase. It can be one of these. Anything that essentially holds whiskey is what you're looking for. But the idea behind an infinity whiskey is that, so when you are a whiskey connoisseur, like myself, someone who drinks whiskey, who loves whiskey, who likes trying a bunch of different whiskeys, the idea behind it is that when you start to drink so many whiskeys, because you're not going to drink the same bottle every single day, or every week, I should say. If you're a whiskey drinker, you kind of like to dabble a little bit. You'll pour a glass of this, you'll pour a glass of that, and eventually some of those bottles dwindle down and you only have so much left, right? Well, sometimes you have multiple bottles that dwindle down enough to where, like, well, that's only got one glass left. That one has 2 glasses. That one has about a glass and a half, maybe a glass plus an extra pour. So an infinity bottle combines all those whiskeys. I know it's crazy, right? Because you're thinking to yourself, well, I wouldn't combine vodkas. I wouldn't combine tequilas. I wouldn't combine beer. But whiskey's a whole different story. It's similar to wine in that way. And I'm not a big wine drinker, so I don't know if this is right, but I feel like you can combine wines and be okay with it, especially over time. And that's the idea behind a whiskey bottle, is that, or an infinity bottle, excuse me. You can combine as many whiskeys as you want that only have so much left in its bottle. And I should have grabbed one. I have one sitting on my rack that I am eventually going to add to this. But I have 3 different types of whiskeys in this bottle right now. So this is what it looks like. So I have 3 different whiskeys in here. I have 2 bourbons and a rye, which is very interesting. Thank you, Brandy, for that. I'm not a big wine person, so thank you for clarifying. The 3 whiskeys I have in here, I have Clyde Mays, which is a very surprisingly good bourbon that I really actually liked. It never really dropped into my radar, and I surprisingly liked it. But I honestly, so my best friend got it for me for my housewarming party last year. It took me a little bit of a while to drink it, but I really enjoyed it because I was trying to savor it. And then I found out this whole infinity bottle thing. I was like, yes, duh, add it to that. And then I dwindled down a Pendleton whiskey, a bourbon, which I actually liked as well. I believe I did Pendleton on the show. I did both of them on the show. I did all 3 of them on the show, actually. And then the third was the rye, Monkey Shoulder, which everyone has heard so much about on this show specifically. Monkey Shoulder rye whiskey. I combined it with these 2. I turned both Sean Sullivan and Maxwell Haddad onto Monkey Shoulder. It's kind of become a favorite. And so these have been sitting together for, I want to say, close to 6 months. They've been melding. I've had 1 glass of this so far. I have not touched it since. And I got to say, when I tried it then, I really, really enjoyed it. But I'm really excited. Excuse me. I'm really excited to try it now after it's been sitting for so long, because these whiskeys have just been melding with each other. They've been combining and twisting and turning over the last couple months. They've been sitting and just distilling, if you will. It's the term used by whiskey. And it's funny because, and it is a little bit of a watered down factor, but it doesn't look as dark in my glass, which is, I mean, look at the comparison here. I just poured this like 5 minutes ago, or right before the show started, but look at the difference in color. So I don't know if the bottle does something or if it instantly hit the glass and is like, oh man, the water got to it. It's not as watered down as it looks. I promise. The ice cubes are not actually as big. But I'm just excited. I want to turn more people on this infinity bottle idea, because Sean Sullivan and we found it together. He actually introduced it to me, and I was like, oh dude, I got to get onto this. And I got onto it because I had some whiskeys, and now I'm here being a infinity bottle enthusiast. So, I'm excited to do so. If you're a whiskey drinker, you don't have to be, but if you're a whiskey drinker, I think the infinity bottle is the way to go. It's very, very interesting. Oh, this is cool right here. I have a Scotch infinity bottle and other whiskey. That's cool. I don't have a ton of Scotch, and that's funny because Scotch is my favorite type of whiskey. I think I only have 2 Scotches sitting on my rack right now, and one of them was my very first bottle of whiskey that I bought a number of years ago. See, it's so interesting because having sipped All of them. Oh my God, that's so good. I'm sorry. That is just so good. That is so different from what I experienced just a few months ago, drinking this for the first time. Letting it sit has done wonders to this. Oh my God, it's amazing. So again, Clyde Mays, Pendleton, and Monkey Shoulder are the 3 whiskeys I have in this bottle at the moment. I can taste that instant bite from the Monkey Shoulder because it is rye, has a little bit of a stronger sense. It has that, in whiskey terms, it kind of has that bite, right? That bite down your throat as you kind of, as it goes down. But it has that really sweet factor from the Clyde Mays, which I did a review on this show months ago, sometime last year. Super interesting, but really good. So you get that instant bite, but then the bourbon kind of like dumbs it down a little bit where it's not as effective as a typical rye would be. And I'm really enjoying this. I'm so happy that I did this. And I'm so happy I haven't tried it until I promise you, I have not tried this since I tried it months ago. And I don't have the text thread because I sent a video to Sean. I don't have a text thread when I made it, but it was months ago. It had to be at the beginning of this year. And it tastes so different now after all the months it's been sitting. And it's really, really good. Oh my God, that's so good. I'm so happy right now. And I can't really like review an infinity bottle because I'd be talking about so many different types of whiskeys. All I can say is that I can taste them all. But I can specifically taste the bite that the Monkey Shoulder has and the sweetness from the Clyde Mays. I remember those two specifically. They are very distinct as I taste it. And it's so weird because it's such a light color in my glass. I don't know if it's the camera or just this bottle, but look at the difference in color. It's very, very strange. Either way, anyway. Yeah, I could see that, Brandy. I can see that. You're definitely taking a risk, right? Because you don't know what's going to blend well together. You just don't know. They can taste horrible at first, but you give them 6 months and they can taste great. It hasn't tasted terrible yet, but I guarantee you I have some whiskeys that I get down to the bottle or glass and I put in here and it's going to end up making this taste really bad. There's definitely a possibility. There's a chance. So that's definitely a possibility here in the future. I will review my infinity bottle over the months. It's going to be on the show every couple shows, especially as I add to it more. I'm trying to dwindle down my collection because I counted the other day. I'm at, 14 bottles are sitting on my bar right now of whiskey. I just can't have that many. I got to drink them. I got to start drinking them because then it's just like they're just sitting there for a long time and some get neglected and I can't neglect them. I just can't neglect them. I feel bad. So, but again, back to the whole movie side of all of this and the idea behind the show outside of the whiskey. First of all, thank you to all of you who are joining me. I see you all. John, Brandy, Rachel, Buck, dude, I see you, man. Gab, of course. Thank you guys for Geo. Thank you for popping in, bud. If you're still there, comment along. Give me some questions of stuff that's kind of going on. Questions you guys have about Star Wars, movies, whiskey, whatever it is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is really just a show for me to hang out and talk. The shows that I'm on, and I love those shows to death, both Apocalypse and A Certain Point of View. I love them to death, but they're organized, they're scheduled, they're laid out, they have an outline to them. This is very much just a shoot the shit kind of show. Of course, there's going to be topics and ideas and guests who come on who want to talk about specific things. But it's really a show for me to kind of get my opinions out there. And they can be as random as anything. It's like I mentioned up top on the show, I kind of wanted to reassess what this show was about. And I thought to myself, well, there's a lot of things that have gone through the months, whether it's movie news or current events or whatever, that I don't get to talk about on the shows because one, POV is Schmodown, which is perfect. It's one topic. It's Schmodown, stuff that's happening currently in the Schmodown. Apocalypse is mainly the things that are happening right now. And so we have our shows on Tuesdays, and because we only do one show a week, it's 90 minutes. We can only put so much in the show as possible. And so there's a lot of things that kind of slip through the fingers with the show because we can only add so many things to the show. And I just noticed I have this weird, I call them my wings, this wing hair popping out of my hair. That means that's when I know my hair is getting too long, not my wing. Anyway, I got to cut my hair. You guys might see a different hairstyle from me here very soon. But yeah, I want a platform to talk. And I'm telling you guys, I love film in general. And it's really blossomed to media over the last couple years. A lot of my close friends know, and Rachel, you know me so well. It's perfect timing for what I was just about to say. My close friends know how much I adore television. Not like sitting on the couch and just watching TV. I'm talking about shows and watching shows on streaming service, on cable. All of my close friends, I'm not telling you, I have watched so many television shows throughout my life. I could legitimately run a podcast channel on just television. I watch so many and a lot at the same time. I could never count or list the shows that I've seen. It's literally endless. I'm not joking you that like I pick a couple, I finish them, and then I wait for the next season to come out. The second I finish one, I'm on to the next. Like I'm on to the next. A great example is this week alone. So I started this show last year. I watched the first episode and I never went back to it. I must have been busy or just kind of slipped my radar. But I finished Outer Banks season 1 this week on Netflix. First of all, kind of obsessed. Not going to lie, kind of obsessed. I actually really do like the show. It's a teen drama, but it's also about treasure hunting. And I'm just a sucker for treasure hunting, like absolute sucker for treasure hunting. And that's kind of what the show is based around. They're searching for a long lost gold. And like, you just hooked me. You instantly hooked me. Anyway, I watched all 10 episodes in like the span of like 3 days. I finished episode 10 early morning yesterday, I want to say. I watched episode 10 early morning yesterday. I started Star Trek Discovery season 3 directly afterwards. Like I am constantly watching things, whether it's movies or television, but a lot of it has been television. I try to watch as many shows as I possibly can. I love television. I love different types of television. I love shows from different streaming services. Gabby and I are currently, we binged Handmaid's Tale over the last 2 months. And we are just about to finish season 4. We have 2 episodes left of Handmaid's Tale, and we binged it in 2 months. While I was watching Outer Banks, while I was watching other stuff that I was personally watching, John Pierce, to your point, I was watching the Fear Street movies as we were watching Handmaid's Tale. Like I am constantly going back and forth between a lot of things. And so I want to open this channel up to being able to talk about all of that stuff. I might do a review for Outer Banks season 2. I might do a review for the Fear Street movies. I might do a review to what Rachel said, Vikings. These are my Vikings wings. Thank you, Rachel. I love you. Thank you. I've watched Vikings, but who says I can't watch Vikings again? The series is over. I may as well watch it over again. And to that point, they're doing another series, a spin-off series. I'll do reviews to those. Like, I'm telling you, I watch so much stuff, guys. It's not just Schmodown. It's not just movies. I watch so much television. Gabby can tell you how much stuff I actually watch because she hates it. She doesn't actually hate it, but I am constantly watching things that she does not care about. And it's awesome because it keeps my mind going on things that I love. And, you know, I've grown to love movies and television equally. And it'd be a very hard time for me to give up television, but there's just so much good content that comes out every single week on streaming services. Example, Ted Lasso. I'm thinking about doing Ted Lasso reviews on this show. I love Ted Lasso. I just finished, before I was watching Outer Banks, I finished For All Mankind Season 2. See on Apple Plus with Jason Momoa is coming out soon. Like, there's just so much stuff that's happening that I watch. I want to be able to talk about it here because I don't get that opportunity on Apocalypse. I don't get that opportunity with POV. I don't get that opportunity with my friends because a lot of my friends don't watch all of the stuff that I watch. And if you guys watch it and want to talk about it, this is where I can do it. And so that was the idea behind it, kind of retooling the show. I want to open up the platform. Plus, it opens up my ability to have guests on the show. It's not just Star Wars related. I found out just a short time ago that Molly, my co-host on POV, and Alex are massive Ted Lasso fans. Maybe they want to come over and talk some Ted Lasso with me. I know that Sean Soley is a huge fan of a bunch of other properties outside of Star Wars, like Zelda with video games or D&D and stuff. Like, if I were to ever get his opinion on that, this is the show that I'd want to do it on. So yeah, there's just, I want to open up the door for this channel to be outside of Star Wars. It's still going to be very Star Wars heavy. We have so much Star Wars content coming down the road. It's insane. I might be overwhelmed to talk about other things, but look, Star Wars is where my first love goes. You can see the background. It's clear. It's clear. I'm going to talk about all that stuff here, but I also want to be able to talk about all those other things. I have Apple Plus. I have HBO Max. I have Disney and Netflix and all that stuff. For example, I just did a rewatch of the original Planet of the Apes movie. I finished Battle for Planet of the Apes this morning. I watched all 5 of them in the span of like 6 days. I don't know, something like that. I love them. I love them. You can't see it. I think it's behind me, but I have a Blu-ray set of the original Planet of the Apes. I can talk about that here because nobody else is going to want to talk about that on Apocalypse or POV because maybe they haven't seen him or it's not current, right? It's hard to do so. This is my channel. I can do what I want. That's the point of it. Plus, I get to drink whiskey and talk with all the people who love watching and talking this stuff, right? Brandy, yes, you need to see Ted Lasso. It's a 20 to 30-minute comedy, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's just amazing. And John Pierce, I will say this. I know that a lot of people are like, I don't want to get Apple. Sometimes, or not sometimes, Apple Plus has some of the best television content on the planet. On the planet. There has not been a single Apple Plus series that I have not liked. Not a single one. The Morning Show is great. For All Mankind is one of my favorite television shows going right now. It's one of the best sci-fi series ever made. See with Jason Momoa is incredibly interesting and unique. The kind of politic vibe that you get from that show, the hierarchy and the world that they live in. Ted Lasso, clearly you see the love for that show, among all of the other stuff they do. I also loved one of their original films named Palmer, which starred Justin Timberlake. Their stuff is really, really good. I would recommend Apple Plus. I really would. If you can get it for a month and binge, it would be so worth it, man. I promise you. If not, I'll Venmo you. So, seriously, I'll Venmo you your month for Apple Plus. It is just amazing. It is amazing. So I highly, highly recommend Apple Plus. Yes, Rachel, Defending Jacob, another one. I don't know if that'll ever get these wings are bothering me. I don't know if we'll ever get a second season from that because I know it was based on a prior story. But Defending Jacob with Chris Evans is great. It's great. It's actually one of the better series on that platform. I think I binged that in like 3 days or something. I really, really enjoyed that. And also to your point, Rachel, I just found out yesterday, and this could very well become a big thing on this channel. Smallville, all 10 seasons are officially coming to Blu-ray. They are officially coming to Blu-ray. I don't think I have them out here. Yeah, they're not out here. I have the first 5 or the last 5 seasons on Blu-ray. So close to 10 years ago, when Smallville finished, over 10 years ago, excuse me, when they put the series officially out on like DVD and Blu-ray, they never put the first 5 seasons on Blu-ray because the effects system of 99 to like 04 was different from what they did in the latter 5 seasons. So the first 5 were on DVD and the last 5 were on Blu-ray. This is the first time they've ever done an entire series on Blu-ray with Smallville. And I've been waiting for this day. I never knew if it would happen because transitioning effects is very difficult. I can understand why it took so long. but all 10 seasons are officially coming to Blu-ray, and I might do a rewatch on the channel. Maybe just some of the big episodes, not it, because there's like 200 and I'm gonna look this up after I say this. 254 episodes, I think there is. I'm gonna look. There's 10 seasons. There's like 20 to 24 episodes a season. I think there's 254 episodes. I was wrong. It's 217. I was way off. I almost said 214, but 217 episodes of Smallville. I can't do a reaction to every single one of them. I can't. Maybe two of the big episodes that are happening, my favorite episodes. Obviously, Lois Lane stuff, because Erica Durance's Lois Lane might be the best Lois Lane that's ever graced a screen. She's great. But Smallville will definitely be coming to this channel. Oh, John, come on, man. You got to get to Smallville. Brandy, you got to get to Smallville. It's so good. If you have Hulu, it's on Hulu. All 10 seasons are on Hulu. I will say this. I will pre-warn you. Because of the stuff we have today with the effects and the quality, it can be a rough watch at time. Remember, it's early 2000s effects. It's a teen drama. It's about a high school Clark Kent who goes through. So it's over a 10-year span, and it starts as him as a freshman. Buck, you're speaking my language, bud. There is no DC show without Smallville at all, anywhere. Arrowverse, the entire Arrowverse would have never happened without Smallville. Smallville is the reason why. I will say that it is a rough watch at times because of the effects. Back then, it was different. So a lot of the time, the first season or so does a lot of the villain of the week factor, but there is an overall arching story to everything. Each season has an end game, and they play into the Superman lore more than anything ever has. More than anything ever has, period. They get into Krypton and his father, his grandfather. Christopher Reeve is in the show. I'm forgetting her name, and I feel so bad but the original Lois Lane is in the show. Green Arrow, Aquaman, Cyborg, all of these characters pop up. And they even did, after the series ended on television, they did a season 11 in comic book form. And it was just announced not too long ago that Tom Welling, who was Superman, or Clark Kent, and Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor, are actually in charge of creating an animated show that is a sequel to the series, which is super, super cool. So if you are ever inclined to watch Smallville, the time is now. They're doing a sequel series in animated form. And I will tell you, all they have to do is adapt the comic books. The comic books were incredible. Tom Welling's Superman eventually became part of the Justice League with Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. It jumped into the larger part of the DC universe because a large part of Smallville, it's not focused on Superman. It's focused on Clark Kent. The movies, right? And rightfully so. All the movies we get with Superman, it's a combination of Superman and Clark Kent because that's what you go to see. You go to see Superman. You go to see Clark Kent. Smallville was pitched and created and developed as a Clark Kent television show. It's not a Superman television show. Of course, there's Superman acts, there's Superman villains, there's Superman characters, but it is 99%, or not 99. I will say 90% of it / 95, probably in between there. It's Clark Kent focused, not Superman. And that's why I love it so much. It dives into the character and person of Clark Kent. And Tom Welling is arguably one of the greatest people to ever do it. To me, actually, overall, including Clark Kent and Superman, because they are two different characters, Tom Welling might be behind Christopher Reeve for me. It might go Reeve, Welling, Cavill. Overall, I think Cavill's the best Superman. Period. I think Cavill's the best Superman. I think Christopher Reeve was the best Clark Kent. But overall, combining the two, Reeve, Welling, Cavill, I think is what my three might be. But that could be a discussion later on. Anyway, back to what I was saying. And example A, I want this show to be exactly what I'm doing. Just shooting stuff off, talking about random things, not just Star Wars all the time. Not just Star Wars all the time. Of course, it's going to be Star Wars heavy. I'm going to talk about Ahsoka because her show is coming. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters ever. Her show is coming. And again, next week, I plan on doing another show. I might talk about that rumored Ezra and Thrawn casting. That's a big deal. That is a big, big deal. And that'll definitely be a topic on the show. If I have not done it already, I'm definitely doing it now. Gabby, it comes out October 18th. It'll arrive at our house very, very shortly afterwards. And she's speaking on the Smallville box set. And it's definitely happening. Just so you know. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do with this show is, and I'm glad that all of you have been joining me and talking as Kylo barks in the background because someone might be home. Kylo, hey. Oh, someone is home. Here we go. No, let him in. Hey, come here. Sorry, guys. Someone's home, so he likes to bark because we are in the garage, if you didn't know already. So he likes to protect the house. Anyway, I wanted the show to kind of be random and talk about certain discussions, and you guys bring up questions that you may have of stuff going on. I still call myself the Whiskey Jedi. It's a nice, really nickname that I was given a little while ago that I kind of ran with for the show. It doesn't just have to focus on Star Wars just because I am called the Whiskey Jedi or that the show is called the Whiskey Jedi. And I plan on talking about a lot of whiskeys. You might see repeats because, let's be frank here, it's hard to review a whiskey every single time on the show that's brand new because I'd have to buy a bottle every single time, and I would never finish whiskeys. But there's a chance that I'll get some small samples. I've considered joining a club like Brandy mentioned earlier. I've considered joining a subscription service that sends me sample sizes, a couple sample sizes every few months that I can try. That's always been a possibility for the show. And John, to answer your question, at this moment in time, the show will be every 2 weeks. It'll be every 2 weeks. And as I said up top, I do 2 other channels that take priority sometimes because I love those channels. I love Apocalypse and I love POV. Apocalypse is on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays and Fridays, depending on certain Star Wars and Marvel shows that are released. And then you guys see with POV, we do reactions and we do Sunday shows. But that doesn't mean that I can't go back-to-back weeks or I can't go 3 weeks in a row. If I feel up to it and if I want to do a show, I'm going to do a show. There's no like exactly set schedule here. My goal is to get one out at least every 2 weeks. That's the goal. I will, going forward, I've told myself, do not move forward not shooting a show without releasing one every 2 weeks. I want 2 out a month. Before I was aiming for, when I first started this, I was aiming for every week. It just wasn't possible. But that's why also when I had whiskey bottles that I hadn't tried before that I could review. But I want to be able to keep it fresh and bright and vibrant with guests, with you guys, whiskeys that I have. And I really want to keep this show consistent because I haven't been able to be consistent over the last couple months. It's been very hard. There's a lot of stuff that's been very, very hard. Work's been busy. Podcast has been busy. The world is opening back up, so I'm still adjusting to that. Hey, Dom, thanks, man. Thank you. Are we just not acknowledging the fact that Jake has been live streaming himself peaking for the last half hour completely? Thanks, bud. If you guys don't know, and I'm sure you don't, Dom was on my show a few months ago. We did a really, really fun show where we ranked our favorite memorabilia items in Star Wars. And it could be anything. And it's funny because, I'll just say this. It's funny. Our number one item was the same item. And we had no idea what each other's lists were. It was a really, really fun show. It was the first ever rye whiskey focus show we did. And the two of us just kind of hung out, talked Star Wars. It was a blast. He and I saw Snake Eyes over the weekend together. We're going to Suicide Squad next week. So I plan on getting Dom on the show a lot more. He's a big whiskey guy like I am. He's from my area. So I want to have Dom on the show more. He's a great guy to talk to about whiskey and movies and stuff. And so, but yeah, check that show out. We ranked our favorite things in Star Wars, essentially, is what we did. And our number one was the exact same. And our reaction was priceless. It was priceless. It was great. So check that out. But yeah, I want to be able to jump on the show and do exactly what I'm doing now. Just be like excited about the things I'm talking about. If I'm talking about something and someone puts something in the chat and it takes me completely off path, I want to get stoked about it. And so I really want it to be a viewer focused show. I want to talk with you all, not just topics that I have lined up. Of course, when I have guests on, I want to talk to them about their opinions. If you guys don't know, the way I do it here is when I have guests on, I have them come up with the topic of the show. So, like, for example, for Sean, when Sean joined me, and I have to have him back, like it's a no-brainer to have him on the show, he came up with the idea of, like, what makes a great Star Wars pilot in Star Wars space battle. Like, that was the topic we ran with. With Dom, he gave me a list of, like, 7 things, and we dwindled down to our favorite memorabilia items. For just that show, we have like 6 things on the back burner that we're eventually going to do as well. But yeah, so that's the idea behind all my guests. Like Maxwell came on and we did our favorite Star Wars tracks. I plan on having it. It's been mentioned forever, but I'm going to have my co-host Molly on the show. I'm going to have Alex as well, Molly and Alex together. I want to have people on the show that love Star Wars. I would love to have someone like Coy Jandreau on to talk just complete geek fest of Marvel stuff or DC stuff or whatever. Friends of mine like the Apocalypse Boys, Jill from POV, just people that I want to talk to about stuff that I really want to talk about is the goal of this show. And I really hope that you guys are going to join me and be along for the ride, because I want your opinions too. And it's not going to be a guest every single show. I want the goal, because of everything, I want to have at least a guest every other show to get different opinions. I'm going to start putting feelers out there and stuff like that. But that's really what I really want to do. But yeah, I'm spitballing with a new thing here. I did something new when I first started this channel, and now I'm going to shift things up. I almost put it in the title, but I'm going to think of it as a phase 2, if you will, in the Marvel sense. And again, look, we're getting back to Marvel. Marvel's coming back quick. We just did Black Widow. We have all these series out. Marvel can easily be a topic on this show as well. And so I'm excited. DC, I talked about, my love for Indy and Tron and all these other weird Mad Max, Planet of the Apes. All of those are going to come up in topic as a conversation here. You can see all the records behind me, all the books, stuff like that will come up in conversations. And I just noticed my Tomb Raider is knocked over. Unfortunately, I need to put her back up. I don't know why she's knocked over. All the rest of them are up. Whatever. But yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do with the show going forward. John, to answer your question, I do have whiskey stones. They were gifted to me by my aunt. Real quick, hold on. My aunt gifted me a box that she got from Exie. It came in a really, really cool wood box. And it was a square whiskey glass with Kylo Ren's face on it. And it came with 3 whiskey stones. Just the cubed whiskey stones. And on one of my very first shows, Billy Polyhan, the master of puns himself, over at POV, he was watching and he dubbed them, because I was doing my Mandalorian season 1 rewatch. He dubbed them my Beskar cubes. And so I've called them my Beskar cubes ever since, because they're not just one color. They're kind of like this textured, if you will, very different. And so I call them my Beskar cubes, because it is a Star Wars show, and a Star Wars podcast. So I just ran with it, and it works out perfectly. So I have those in the freezer. I didn't use them tonight, but I have a whole bunch of different things. I actually, my aunt, the same aunt who gifted me the glass, actually gifted me a whiskey glass last year. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. I think it's from Corksicle, I want to say. But it's, so what you do is pour water into it, and diagonally half of the glass fills up with water and it freezes. And then the other half, the top half, is whiskey. So you have this big giant ice cube that almost chills the whiskey instantly. You'll even see me at times with no ice, because I do drink whiskey neat sometimes, if I'm up to it. There's actually a lot of times where I just drink it neat. So you'll see me with a wide range of stuff, different glasses, different ice cubes. The Corksicle glass I spoke of as well. I have Darth Vader glass or ice cubes. I have just plain old circular ice cubes. So you'll see me with a bunch of different stuff throughout the show. And Dom, to your point, of course, dude, anything you want to talk about, man, I'm going to get you on the show to do so. I know you have like a million things lined up, so we're going to do it. Maybe I'll get you on the next episode, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. So yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the show, everybody. I wanted to do this and talk about the future of the show and kind of just hang out and talk whiskey, talk Star Wars, Marvel, movies, television. Obviously, I talked about a lot of television in this episode. As you guys can tell, I'm very passionate about it. And I will say Outer Banks Season 2 comes out this weekend. I'm going to binge the hell out of that. Also, great point, because I just found this out today, and I've never seen it. The Indiana Jones television series is officially on Paramount Plus. I've never seen it. There's a good chance I might do a watch along to that show on this channel. I know PJ's tried to get me on it forever, but it is officially available to stream after not being able to, or not having the opportunity to stream it for so long. I'm going to be watching the hell out of that thing. And so I might review it / react to it. With my Mandalorian stuff, I watched it live on camera. I might do the same thing here. We'll see. But that's definitely something that's going to be coming up on the channel as well. So if you're interested in that, the Indiana Jones television series from back in the day, as you can tell, I'm calling it the television series. I know nothing about it. I am so fresh going into it, being a massive indie fan. I am so fresh going into it. And so I'm super excited to watch that. And I'll definitely be talking about that here on this show. And real quick, one last comment before we're out of here. Brandy just caught up. Okay, I just caught up. Whiskey University isn't samples. It's actually classes to learn history. Oh, hey now. So I can eventually become an instructor. Oh, that's cool. That sounds really cool. Brandy, you might have to teach me a few things. That sounds very, very interesting. I'm into that. I'm into that. You're going to have to give me some feedback because I would definitely like to learn a little bit more. It's funny. I've actually looked into like, not that I would ever switch from my main job, but I've actually looked into like whiskey jobs, distillery jobs, just because I love it so much. And so that's something that I've kind of like pondered. But if I can become a whiskey instructor through Whiskey University, that might be cool. So we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. Again, to all of you who's watched live, John, Buck, Brandy, Dom, Rachel, Gab, Gio, I see you in there beginning, man. Thank you all for joining me live. Questions, comments. I thoroughly do enjoy it. I really, really do. This show always hasn't had the biggest viewership, but that's not what it's about. I just love chatting and talking things. And if you guys are here to either talk whiskey or some kind of media, whether it's movies or television, I'm here all for it. I'm here. I'm ready to talk it. And again, every 2 weeks, excuse me. I'm here to talk whiskey, here to talk movies, here to talk television, here to talk video games, possibly. I don't know. Whatever comes up, I'm here to talk. And I hope you guys listen. So I'd love to hear it. And again, this show isn't just going to live on YouTube going forward. I am going to start uploading all of these on audio platform. And hopefully I'll be able to review whiskeys every 2 weeks and talk about them again. There might be some refeeds as well as my Infinity bottle. Again, the Infinity whiskey bottle, everybody. If you are a whiskey person, I highly recommend trying it. Put a couple out there. See what it's all about. You might like it, you might not like it. Brandy said it earlier. You can get some great ones. You can get some really bad ones. It's kind of an in-between. But I do recommend it. It's very, very, and I really do enjoy mine right now. Clyde Mays, Pendleton, and Monkey Shoulder is what I currently have in my bottle. But there will definitely be more added to it over time. And then I look forward to the next episode. As I mentioned, it might be the Ezra Thrawn stuff for Star Wars. But it could also be something super random. I don't know. Maybe I want to talk Tron. Maybe I want to talk a comic book I read. Maybe I want to talk baseball. I'm a big baseball fan, everybody. Maybe baseball comes up in conversation. I don't know. But either way, I'll be back in 2 weeks talking anything in the world that I want to talk about, as well as some whiskey. So hopefully you guys will join me. If you have not already, if you are watching and have not already, hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more content from me. You can also find me on a ton of other places. On Twitter at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 N's, because someone else took it before I did. Apocalypse Movies, my main channel. I've been doing that for years. It's movie related, do a lot of cool things over there. And then A Certain Point of View if you are part of Schmodown. If you don't know what Schmodown is, if it sounds like a foreign alien word, it is the ultimate movie trivia league in the world. And I run one of the main after shows for it. So go check it out, A Certain Point of View. But again, thank you to all of you who've been watching. I love you guys. I can't wait to talk more with you in the next couple weeks. And have a good night, everybody. Thanks again.